beep, beep. Welcome to the court of the EDI Jester. How are we, good people? I'm back. One is feeling slightly better. I'm still a little bit... Let me get my tea. I'm still a little bit on the old temperature side, but I'm there. I'm getting there. Right, okay, so here we go. Please do become Warrior Teacher. See my pinned tweet, all the information in the doobers. All links, as usual, are in there. Please share, subscribe, press the button, smash that like button, all that stuff. That's what they say in it. Smash the like button. And so here we go today we're back at the BBC. Why is it with the BBC? I mean, it's like they're like a toddler who won't stop shitting themselves in the corner. It's horrendous. Right, but this is, I'm not surprised by this because this would be my advice to any company in reverse, right? So my advice would be this in reverse to any company who's getting involved in this cultists, right? BBC staff told not to hire candidates who are dismissive of diversity. Right? Well, that's fine, right? You can design systems that, for example, which I help some people with, you design systems to keep the woke out, right? But that don't breach the Equality Act. Okay, that's because you don't want to breach the Equality Act. What you're doing is making a decision based on culture. So therefore you have to look for specific things, and you want the correct answers for specific things that fit with your company's culture and your company's mission and all that sort of stuff that the company wants to do. So they're doing the opposite. They're saying, no, if people don't like diversity, they don't come to the BBC. It's because we just don't want anybody in the BBC that likes diversity of thought rather than the fact that they're, a gay, black, trans, disabled person of indigenous kind of oats. I don't know what. BBC staff are being told not to hire candidates who are dismissive of diversity and inclusion. The Telegraph can disclose. A recruitment policy document says applicants should be asked to explain what diversity inclusion means to you, and should you be successful, what opportunities do you see for you to promote, celebrate or encourage diversity and inclusion in your role? Right? If I went to an employer and they asked me that, I'd go, I'd like to thank you for your time. I'm off, right? Okay, because you're nuts. That's how you start, isn't it? The guidelines used in a major non-editorial department of the BBC tell recruiters don't hire candidates who are unsuited to the organisation if they are dismissive or derisory of diversity and inclusion and surrounding topics. The question's so broad as to be meaningless, isn't it? The question's so broad as to be meaningless. So tell me, Mr. Interviewee, here at the BBC, the three of us that are on this panel, that's myself, Quentin Farrar, and next to me I have Miriam Murray, and then also you'll see at the end there, that's Roderick Rockefeller. Can you tell the three of us, please, what you'll do about diversity and inclusion and what it means to you if you were to take this role? Well, I don't know what I could do. I mean, I'm only cleaning the toilets, so I'd really be quite confused about how I could do something about diversity and inclusion. Well, that's immaterial. Obviously, you're going to meet people in your role as a toilet cleaner. Right? Oh. Critics have claimed that diversity and inclusion can be a way for organisations to promote controversial ideas. Claimed? It is. Stop. The Telegraph, sometimes they do this, don't they? Possibly. It's not possibly. Is that diversity and inclusion is a dangerous political ideology. End of story. It's just dangerous. Earlier this month, the Telegraph revealed that ministers were planning on crackdown on civil servants, using their jobs as a vehicle for political activism in relation to diversity and inclusion initiatives. Commenting on the recruitment guidelines, a BBC source said, "The BBC is not a welcoming place for those with conservative opinions. Management talks about diversity without embracing diversity of thought." Well, what can I be surprised? Here we go. Right, so the BBC's made up of like liberals, lunatic lefties, right? And LGBTQ lovies, right? Like the theatre used to be years ago, The guys who come on the stage and do King Lear, and there'd be some fey Ponzi dresser in the corner who'd be a gay guy hiding from the horrors of reality. It's true, right? It's where all the gays hid in the theatricals. Now all the mad hard liberal gays are all hanging out in the theatricals under the guise of LGBTQ plus, along with their, blue-haired idiot friends. Okay, so This quote continued from this, this person who's commenting, this commenting person, whistleblowing type person. The place that I've given years of my working life and that I sincerely cherish currently feels captured by left-wing activists and is unable to deliver on our core principle of impartiality. We may have noticed. It's possible that people have noticed that the BBC has an impartiality problem when it comes to pushing trans in the gay away and mutilating your body at the Church of Gender and in service of a God who slips souls into gendered souls into bodies, and occasionally, because he's been on the gin, gets it wrong. Yes! Hello, Rabbly Dick Day. Testicles, spectacles, wallet and watch. Hiring on the basis of adherence to diversity and inclusion ideology excludes most conservative-minded people and indeed much of the population. Robert Aitken, a former BBC journalist and author, said, "These guidelines illustrate just how embedded DEI ideology is at the BBC. The rules act as a mechanism to maintain groupthink and screen out anyone who is sceptical of the novel doctrine of diversity and inclusion." The BBC is now hiring not on the basis of skill or merit, but instead on people's political attitude to diversity. So there you go. The BBC is building a hard left state on public money that can then push out propaganda on behalf of the hard left state in order to indoctrinate. That's what they're doing. On the other hand, Silent Witness the other night really had a pop at the old mad look up at cues. Did anybody see it? Silent Witness? Talking about what, that woke is scum and then so they got, it all ended badly, of course, for the guy that said so. It had to, didn't it? Because otherwise the BBC can't keep their narrative going. But yeah, it was interesting, Silent Witness the other night. The corporation has said that in January last year it had replaced the recruitment guidelines with a new framework that assesses candidates against BBC's values and behaviours. Here we go. But the old policy was still in use during a transition period. That was January last year, right? Here's the policy. Get it to every department head. Click. Okay, so it's gone in less than, 10 seconds? It arrives in less than a minute, easily. So back in January, it all arrived at the department heads and they're still not using it. The guidelines also tell managers what makes a suitable BBC employee. They state that recruiters should look for applicants who will elevate our culture from the outset, who are an advocate or ally and help everyone feel included and that they have a voice in work. Yeah, it's just the same bullshit, different coat. Right? They're going to have to send people in. This is a government, this is a public body. Get the woke finder general in there. This is a public body. Do your damn job. Right? That's it. Candidates are described as suitable if they understand that diversity is not always visible to the eye, are aware of their own language and behaviour. There you go. Their language and behaviour. F you, BBC. It is advised that applicants are given 10 minutes to answer questions on diversity and inclusion. Your average person didn't give a toss about diversity and inclusion. Just do the damn job. Do the damn job. Well, as somebody who's cleaning toilets, you've got 10 minutes. Describe diversity and inclusion. The BBC is unfit for purpose. Defund the damn thing until it behaves. I'll see you later. Bye.